Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla Battleline video, and today I'm talking about MECHAGODZILLA 1974. What do I think about him as a unit, not as a leader, but as a new unit? For those of you who are just joining us for the very first time this month because of MECHAGODZILLA, or maybe you were around during Kamen Rider season, you didn't catch my video on Kamen Rider. The beginning of the month, when new characters come out, normally within the first few days of the season, I like to just do a quick early review, like a first impressions kind of feel on the characters and my general thoughts on them. Later in the season, when I do a tier list or more in-depth videos like deck builds and stuff like that, I'll have more, put together thoughts, but I do really like to, take a look at a character when they drop and just talk about them and my feelings of them as soon as they come out, because I think that gets it's like a good feeling, a good vibe, a good read on the character, and then, if the character's bad or worse or better than I thought, I can always come back to these videos and be like, oh, I was super wrong, or oh, I was spot on. So I think it's a lot of fun, and I think you guys might enjoy it too, so that's what we're doing today. MECHAGODZILLA 74, what about him? Let's go over some basic facts. I obviously, as always, have my handy-dandy Pikachu notepad with information on it and notes that I've written down when I play, such as the note, fun gimmick. So that's a good place to start, right? But before we talk about the gimmick, I want to go over his stats really briefly. I have my game pulled up. He targets leaders, ground, aerial, and facility characters. He has long reach. He's got a medium movement speed, and his gimmick activates when he falls to 80% HP of whatever his health is from max, not whatever his current health is. I don't know why it would be like that, but he's at 100% health. He's disguised. When he gets to 80, he's going to transform. So let's actually talk about that transformation and his gimmick, because I wrote down, fun gimmick. Let's talk about the gimmick. I actually like it a lot. I think it's fairly lore accurate. I would have liked to see him be the Godzilla from that movie and be disguised as that Godzilla. I feel like whenever we end up getting the 74 Godzilla or more Showa Godzillas, added to this game, they'll be added to his transformation pool. But at the moment, we only have 3 Godzillas he can transform into. But when this video goes live, one of them is actually bugged, so he can't actually become them. So MECHAGODZILLA 1974 can become Godzilla 1989, tried and true fan favorite, Godzilla 2004, okay, Final Wars, and then Godzilla 2021, which is the legendary pictures Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. It's unknown at this time if when the Godzilla vs. Kong collaboration goes away for a second time, if that transformation will go with it. I'd have to assume so, because when the first collaboration left, they took them out of the All-Star Battle. Probably will take them out of the transformation pool as well, but we've also never had someone transform into a Monsterverse unit, so we don't know. But he's got 3 options. G21 is bugged right now. What do I think about this? I like the gimmick idea. I really do. You can see me on the screen using the Final Wars Godzilla a lot. I'm using G89. He'll stay that one character the whole match. So once your opponent figures out which Godzilla it is, usually off the first attack, like the first push that you have your MECHAGODZILLA in, the surprise is over, right? It's not like Godzilla 1954 where he can transform into several different Godzillas over a certain period of time, right? He'll be like Burning Godzilla, he could be Kiryu, he could be Terrestrius. MECHAGODZILLA seems to be, okay, I'm going to spawn in as only Godzilla 2004 the entire match, or only Godzilla 89 the entire match, right? Maybe it's different, but that's what I'm noticing in my matches. I'm not seeing a big change in anything, so that is what it is. And the good thing is he retains the stats, it seems, of those characters when he's in those forms. So you can have a Godzilla 89 for 5 cost. That's big. And Godzilla Final Wars for 5 cost as well is also really big, right? These are 2 powerful characters that are going to be 2 cost cheaper than what they normally would be to deploy. And that's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The downside is obviously once they hit the 80%, they turn into the MECHAGODZILLA. And then he goes to MECHAGODZILLA stats, right? So that could be positive. G9 has a high attack speed, but MECHAGODZILLA himself is a 2.8 attack speed, so that's good, and he's got a minor AoE, he's got some really good range, so we like to see that, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I could do a lot of damage with G89 for 5 costs, and Biollante rush him up the water in London, or push him with Gigan, or just do Gigan rush. You could have in your Gigan deck G89 and MECHAGODZILLA, and have 2 G89s. That's big. That's not a joke. That is really, really solid. Downside of the gimmick is obviously, like I said, it kind of gives the game away after the first transformation, since it doesn't switch up every death. they kind of know that it's a MECHAGODZILLA every time. And if you're using like GD9 or, you know, any, not even all the transformations can be leaders. So if you're using any of the transformations as leaders around the field and your opponent sees 2 of them, odds are they're going to be like, all right, well, it's definitely MECHAGODZILLA, right? Cool thing is that MECHAGODZILLA uses the skins. So I don't have any skins on my Godzilla Final Wars because I don't have the Kumonga Goo skin, right? The Cum skin. But I have the silver GD9 skin. And that's what's equipped. So that's what my MECHAGODZILLA uses. Pretty cool. I like that a lot. So that's the Gimmick. I think it's super fun. Let me check what else I have in my notes. He's got close AoE. We talked about that really briefly. So he has 2 different firing modes. He has the eye lasers. I don't remember what the specific name of the lasers are called. Prism beam or something. I don't know. But he's got the eye lasers for long range attacks. Pretty solid. He's got pretty decent range. He's not going to be attacking the enemy leaders outside of leader range. But he can kind of get the 1-up on like the Kamacuras Swarm. He can get like a 1-up on like Anguirus or even like other GD9s. Anything really that needs to get kind of close to attack, he'll be able to hit them first. And then for close range, he has the finger missiles that actually have a small AoE, so they'll hit like all the Kamacuras, all the Dorats, right? Those will get hit. Anything like a big push, he can hit them, which we like. But I'm not really too impressed. He does really well in a team. He's not really something that you're going to use to lead a push. I think he's like, I don't want to say he's just all right, but he's a little underwhelming. The Gimmick is fun. The Gimmick has a lot of more utility than I think people realize, which is fine, and we'll talk about that in a second. But just on his own, no ability, or I'm sorry, no gimmick, he's all right. He is like, God, someone said it in my Discord, and I don't remember who said it. He is like a reskin Kiryu Kai. How Kiryu Kai is the close range AoE, but the long range beam. MECHAGODZILLA seems to have the same going for him as well. So that's big to keep in mind. Not saying that it's like a direct rip or he's a waste. I just don't really think he's incredibly... Without the Gimmick, I don't think he's incredibly impressive. And even with the Gimmick, I really am not like super overwhelmed with it. Now, the Gimmick, we've talked about a lot, how you can disguise yourself. But a really great, oh my gosh, utility for his Gimmick is he's not going to fall below 80% health before he transforms. So let's say, you know how Jet Jaguar Singular Point can absorb 2 hits of infinite damage? MECHAGODZILLA can take 1. So let's say Mothra Leo is rushing at you, and this Mothra Leo is going to deal 1 million damage and would instant kill any unit in this game. It's going to hit MECHAGODZILLA as long as MECHAGODZILLA has 100% health or 90% health and is still disguised. They will get to the 80% mark and then transform. It does not seem like he's getting lower than that 80% benchmark. That it's like a stopgap, and then it puts him into how he truly is, and then he can start attacking. So I've been able to use this pretty effectively. I don't remember which one of the videos on the screen it is, but I used him to basically body block something big coming my way. And it saved my life on more than one occasion, being able to let him take like a massive amount of damage one time. So you could make a case like that's pretty good in itself, but I think it's just all right. I'm not like through the moon with MECHAGODZILLA 74. Even when we saw his original videos like on Twitter for what he would do, I wasn't extremely impressed, and I've been using him ever since I unlocked him, which admittedly hasn't been too long, but that's normally how we do these videos, right? I pretty much make these almost, not as soon as I get the characters, but only when I spend like 24 hours with them. And I gotta say, MECHAGODZILLA 74, I don't feel very impressed with him. I think he's fine. I don't think he's a terrible card for 5 energy, and to get like G21 and GD9 and Final Wars for 5 energy is really big. If they add any more Godzillas to his pool that he can transform into, that's going to be really big too. It seems like the Godzillas that he becomes are at the level that you have your MECHAGODZILLA, not at the level that you have those characters like G54. So unless we get further clarification on that, that's how I'm operating. I'm pretty sure like they're at your MECHAGODZILLA's levels, which I feel like makes him maybe a little bit worse than Godzilla 1954, because if he was taking your character's levels, like my MECHAGODZILLA at 12 then would have a level 36 GD9 stat, which is not anything to laugh at, right? But then my Final Wars would only be like a level 3. So it is what it is, and I don't think we've had clarification one way or the other how that is. So I'm operating under the assumption that they're all the same level. The same level as whatever your Mechagodzilla, like Mechagodzilla Prime is. I like him. I think he's fun. I think his gimmick is fun. I think if you're a fan of the character, you're probably going to enjoy him in this game. And I think you could feel comfortable using him on your team and not feeling super bad about it. I just don't think he really synergizes with anything in the meta at the moment. I feel like he's just kind of like a nice off-meta pick. He's not like super viable by himself. He's good in a team fight. He gives you some extra utility options with characters that he can become, but he's not... I don't know. He's not like GMK. He's not like the Fourth Angel. He's not like Burning. He's not like Batcher or Leo. He's fine. Like, he's okay. He's not terrible, and he's not amazing. He's just like an okay unit, and I think if you want to throw him on your team, you can, and he's going to be a lot of fun to use. And that's about that. But as a leader, which will be a discussion for a different video, I think we're looking at something special. I really do. I really, really think if you're a big fan of Mechagodzilla, you're going to want to use him as a leader and not on the field. But if you want to learn more about that, you're going to have to wait for that video whenever it comes out this week. So, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of Mechagodzilla 1974, and I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.